Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for the week of October 27th. We're going to jump right in here. In your first row for your current general energies, you have this North Node. It says step out of your comfort zone. You have this full moon in Taurus. It says your dreams need a practical plan. The North Node is in your sign, Pisces, so definitely a good time to step out of comfort zones, leave anything behind. I do feel there's like a little bit of, like, I don't know if I would call it confusion or what here, Pisces, on like what to do next in your life. And, I definitely get that off of this first row here. And, I feel that this is like self-doubt or something with that Eight of Swords. You start, obviously, we'll just jump into it. You have the Eight of Swords, the Six of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the Six of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction, or kind of like holding yourself back. And I definitely get that feeling here. So I feel that you need to like not hold back any longer so that you can, attract abundance or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And, again, the Eight of Swords is only seeing one way of doing things when there are many ways to solve your problem or to find success or, whatever it is that you're trying to do. It's actually a pretty good reading, except for the first row, like I said. So I don't know what's going on here with this first row, but some of you clearly need to realize that there's more than one solution. I guess the best way I can describe it, Pisces, is I really feel like you don't know what to do next. That's the message that's popping into my head with this card. And you have the Nine of Swords. I do feel like with the Nine of Swords that you're fearing that things are going to be the same as they have been, is like the fear that is popping into my head with that Nine of Swords. But I feel the Eight of Swords is more just like self-doubt, needing to remove it. It's like maybe you really do know what to do, but if you've been telling yourself that you don't know what to do, then you're going to think that you don't know what to do next in your life, or you are going to think that you're not going to know how to create a correction or move in the right direction. And so I really feel kind of like a need to get out of your head with this Eight of Swords energy. You have the Nine of Swords. Again, Nine of Swords can be like a never-ending nightmare. I don't even feel that for you. Like I said, I feel this is more like the fear of repeating something. It kind of makes sense because I think based off the astrology, you definitely could be feeling, I think I said this to you earlier in the year of 2025, that, you might be, there are certain things, certain energies or aspects of the time that we're in that could be reminding you of like 2008 or like between 2008 and like 2012, which was definitely a harder period of time for Pisces. And, there could be certain fears that are popping up from that time. And I feel like Pisces needs to realize like you've learned how to overcome those things. For most of you, probably financial fears, but, it could be any type of fear. And I feel this is about, instead of like being afraid of it, it's about, the reading is asking you to like face it and, do something about it. So, I know that's easier said than done, but that's what I would do with this Nine of Swords energy. You have the Six of Swords, which is actually pretty good. This would be moving on to calmer shores and, creating a change. I definitely feel Pisces does want to change something about their lives. I feel like you haven't done it exactly yet, but I feel you're kind of thinking about ways to create a positive change or to create improvements. You're definitely being led somewhere. This guy right here is meant to represent a guide. He goes back and forth between the choppy waters. So you are being guided across these choppy waters that you might be in. Although, I don't really feel that. I feel it's like, again, I think there are like little energies, little things that are popping up that remind you of the past or what you went through or the challenges that you had. But it's like, are they exactly the same? No, I think if you really look at the situation, then maybe things aren't as bad as you're feeling necessarily. So let's see where this is going here, Pisces. Okay. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Four of Swords. You have Four Swords, resting, relaxing, recovering. It's also healing. It's also hoping and praying for a blessing. He's hoping and praying to receive a blessing. There's a person right here in the stained glass window that's blessing another person. So, I feel like the universe has heard you. I don't think that's very, again, that's probably not very helpful, but I do feel like the universe has heard your prayers or has heard what you've been asking for. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Knight of Swords. Yes, needing to face the fear, right? The Knight of Swords, sometimes I feel like he is running up to whatever the next card is in the reading, and then he's kind of like running away. When really what he needs to do clearly is charge through. Look, we have the Empress and the King of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles over here, which is amazing. And, the Knight of Swords, sometimes I feel like he just thinks that he can't do something. Whatever. I mean, I know I'm speaking generally, but, for some of you, clearly I think for most of you, I should say, this is financial. For others, it could be love. It could be anything else that you want. And, Ten of Pentacles can be everything you want and desire. But the Knight of Swords is kind of like saying there's something that you have to pass through. There's something, there's like a fear that you have to face, like not being good enough, or maybe it's your self-doubt with the Eight of Swords, or thinking that you can't accomplish something when you can. And it's like, if you would just go to the other side here, like look at how good it is over here, Pisces, right? With the Six of Swords, you have the World. Yeah, the World is an accomplishment. Definitely a good time for Pisces to be making moves in general. Some of you definitely could be thinking about moving, but also just a great time to make moves. Again, I don't know, your home situation could feel a little bit chaotic until like 2033 because we have Uranus and Gemini, right? So your fourth house, Pisces, and, is this bad? No. Uranus loves being in Gemini, but by chaotic, I don't mean that in a bad way, but, you might just decide to like do something unconventional with your living situation. You could decide to move multiple times over the next couple of years, or until 2033, 7 years or whatever. You could decide that you don't want to live in one place. You might decide to like live out of Airbnbs or something like that. So, again, I think that your home situation could be changing, over the next many years. But also, on a personal level, I feel that you could be making a lot of moves, or at least the reading is encouraging you to make those moves that you don't feel good enough to make. That's really what the first row says to me with that Eight of Swords. Again, I'm not getting traditional Eight of Swords stuff. It's just, I mean, sure, you could say that self-doubt might be kind of the Eight of Swords, but, it's not like traditional, right? And so that's really what I feel there. But there you go. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Blue Heron card. It says diplomacy, peacemaking, and positive omens. You have this Minotaur. It says conflict, puzzle solving, and solar energy. Yeah, there will be some puzzles for you to solve over the coming years as well, not just this week. The Blue Heron is also like a card of independence, self-reliance, being able to, accomplish things on your own, and really relying on your own skills. That doesn't mean that you won't get the help of other people, of course, but, it's kind of saying to me, and I think I said this to you in your last reading, that I feel like Pisces needs to realize that they have the answer. It's like you do have the answer for your life. You have the answer whether you realize it or not, about like what to do next, but you might just need to believe in yourself a little bit more. And, that's kind of where I feel like this is going for you. I do feel like that you have to realize that you are putting together some puzzles. It's like, I think maybe the challenge for Pisces is that, you have a lot of skills, but things aren't necessarily going to work right away. If you're starting a business or starting a relationship, you have to like go through the process of putting the puzzle together, right? And you have to move some of the pieces around, and maybe some pieces, you have to like spin to get them to fit in the right spot. So, I feel this is saying, you're gonna have to like experiment and iterate and come up with other, different positions, right? You have the Six of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the Death card. Yeah, pretty good row. I do like that the Six of Cups comes up after that Eight of Swords and Nine of Swords, because Six of Cups can sometimes be a gift from the universe, and it can just be a turnaround, meaning you've been bumping up against an obstacle, and then when we get the Six of Cups, it can represent overcoming an obstacle. It is a card that can represent innocence and nostalgia, and I think the problem here is Neptune and Pisces, of course. Neptune and Pisces will be dissolving things in your life, Pisces, and but it's like a slow dissolve, and it's you might have something in your life that has been established in your life for a long time. It could be like a business or career or something you've been working on, and the problem with the Six of Cups is that we can wish that things would stay the same. It's like if you have a business that's been making money, it's like you could wish that you could just keep doing it. The thing I feel for Pisces is like whatever that is probably a comfort zone. And, whatever that thing is that you're holding on to might actually be preventing you from having something much, much more significant in your life. It's like, imagine if you make like, I don't know, $10,000 a month right now. It's like, what if the universe is like, no, I want Pisces to make $1 million a month. But it's like you're holding on to that 10,000 and you're saying like, oh, but I need to pay my bills. I need to do this, like all these reasons. And the universe is like, yeah, that's great, but you've already learned what you need to learn from this thing. I want you to, exceed your expectations. I want you to do better. And I feel like the universe is saying that. It's like saying, and I think the fear for Pisces is noticing the thing dissolving. Like maybe last month, maybe you only made 9,000, right? Maybe you made a little bit less. So it just, I think, and the problem is, I think that is bringing up fears from like 2008 to 2012 for you, Pisces. It's like you're feeling though something almost feels like it's slipping away. I don't really feel like it is. I think you'll be perfectly fine. But I just feel the universe is kind of triggering you a little bit, trying to get you to break free from the Six of Cups. Six of Cups feels secure, but it's like children can't live there forever. It's like eventually you're not a little kid anymore. It's like eventually these kids have to go to college. Eventually they have to get out of the house, right, and go do something new. You have the Page of Pentacles. I don't know. I feel like there is some good news coming in for you this week. I feel like some of you could be getting answers on like what to do next or what to work on next in your life. And I just feel this could be like news. It could be coming in through like a dream or, your intuition. You're a Pisces. So the Page of Pentacles sometimes I feel is a communication card. I do also feel this could be love. There's a little bit of love here, but is it really love reading? I don't know. But you do have the Page of Cups as well. So you could be attracting like an admirer or a new person. You have the Death card. Again, I think the Death card is just saying something needs to change. Again, we even have this King right here who's dead on the Death card. And the King being dead kind of says things that we think will last forever, sometimes they don't. And I think if we look at the Pisces astrology right now, it's like the universe really wants you to grow. Wants you to exceed your expectations. Again, Neptune and Pisces for the last time. And, we'll never have this opportunity again, Pisces. So I would take advantage of it and do something that, causes you to expand, grow, something. And, this could be like the change that you're going through with the Death card. With the Six of Cups, you have two cards. I pulled the Strength card, but this fell out into my lap. You have the Fool. So the Strength card says you have the strength necessary to be very successful, and the Fool is about like taking that leap of faith. The Fool has to take the risk of looking foolish, which I think Pisces is basically used to, so I wouldn't even worry about it. The Strength card is about taming your inner voice, like the what ifs, the I can't do this, the negative self-talk, and this is something she has to do every single day. The whole point of the Strength card is she's working on her inner voice. And so I would definitely take control here, Pisces, and make sure that you're not, allowing your inner voice to take control. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, it could be a little bit of love if you want it, for sure. Knight of Cups could be a knight in shining armor. Page of Pentacles would be a new person. I don't know, I feel like Pisces could really be attracting a shy person here as well. Because it's like I just feel here, just, looking at all this, it's like I feel like you are saying that this person doesn't like you, is what I feel. It's like, I think Pisces needs to realize you might be attracting a person who's just shy. It's like, so again, if you meet a new person where you're like, I'm not sure if this person is interested, they probably really are. And I think they might just be shy. They might just not be, all up in your grill here, Pisces. But that's kind of the feeling I get. It's like a more shy person or someone who's slower. Definitely popping into my head. With the Death card, here you go. You have the Ten of Pentacles. Like I said, the universe wants Pisces to have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is something that you will work on forever. The universe wants you to have something that could be much more successful. I think the universe wants you to have something that could last a lot longer. Saturn in your sign as well. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, wants you to build something that could potentially take a long time to build, but it's going to be something that will also last a long time if you build it. So, you're building something permanent, or you should be working on something permanent that could last a long time. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this 12th house card. It says introspection. Yes, with Pluto in your 12th house right now for the next 19 years, it is going to be an introspective time. You have this Juno card. It says partnership on it. So there definitely could be a new person coming in for those of you that want it. It's like birds of a feather. It's like I had two peas in a pot for sure. So if you're attracting a person, they might be a little shy at first, but I think you could be attracting a person that's like two peas in a pod, where the two of you are a little bit more inseparable. So, I think it would be worth it to give it a chance for sure. The introspective energy, again, I don't know. Pisces is the 12th house. It's like, does Pisces really mind 12th house energy? No. So I don't think this is a problem. Again, I think, definitely we have just had like the first actual Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Yes, we had some other ones over the past couple years, basically, where, or whatever, where it entered into Aquarius and then retrograded into Capricorn. But this is the first time that it retrograded in Aquarius and didn't leave Aquarius. So, again, I think this is like the first real Pluto retrograde in the sign. And yeah, so maybe since May, things have been a little bit tight for you. I think you've been at it's like the going back over and over and over things type of energy for Pisces, I feel, where it's like maybe you've had to process something or go over something multiple times. Literally could be anything. It could be a past relationship, could be your business, could be an aspect of your business, could be what you want to do with your life, could be where you want to live, right? But that Pluto retrograde in Aquarius right there, especially at the beginning, it really wants us to go deep and explore something. You have the Four Cups, the Empress, and the Page of Cups. Four Cups can be like the fear of disappointment. Again, he's been disappointed like 3 times before, and he's afraid of accepting this fourth cup because he's been disappointed. But, the Four Cups wants you to realize that you have enough knowledge and wisdom here from these cups. You've learned enough that you can apply it to this new cup, and things will work better. So, again, I think you should not be afraid of any opportunities that are coming your way. You have the Empress, which is great, total abundance, total success. So I think a lot of you could be creating a lot of abundance. The Empress, I always say, she builds abundance easily. She's not struggling. All she has to do is wave that scepter in front of her, and the wheat in front of her will grow. I do feel, if you're building something right now, I do feel there's like an initial effort. It's like if you're building a business, it's like, I think initially you're going to be putting in a lot of work. But I think over time, you could get it to be something that isn't so much of a struggle. I also feel like it's like you're putting in, I feel like, if you're making, like I said, I'm just using it as an example. If you're making like $10,000 a month, it's like, I feel like the amount of effort you put into that could easily be transitioned over to something that would make you a lot more, but it would be like the same amount of effort. It would be like if I put as much effort as I do into this channel into another channel, but I did like 1 video a week instead of 900 videos in a week. It's like maybe I could technically get a similar result with kind of less work, if that makes sense. And there's something about effort popping into my head. It's like, I think Pisces has the effort part down. It's like, you know how much you have to put into things and all this other stuff. I think that, she talks about efficiency and doing things the efficient way. And so a lot of you could be making a change like I described. Also, obviously, you're a Pisces, so you're very attractive at this time is what the Emperor says. You have the Page of Cups. Yeah, I don't know. I think some of you, it's like you could be getting an offer here, or someone could be reaching out, or you could be getting some attention from a specific person. And again, I get a very shy energy here at first. It's like they might be a little slow or something, but, definitely could be an admirer. With the Four of Cups, you have the Sun, which is good. So the Sun is happiness, joy, makes the whole entire reading more positive. The Sun is shining its light on the Four of Cups. Wherever the Sun ends up, I always say, this is the area of the reading the universe really wants you to pay attention to. The Sun is like a spotlight, so it really wants you to pay attention to an opportunity that could be coming in for you. It might remind you of a past opportunity, but it's not. It's not like the same. I feel this is saying like, hey, there's an opportunity that might be similar, but it's actually different. With the Empress, you have the King of Cups, which could be you. So again, it doesn't matter what gender you are or anything. It could just be saying that you are the Empress at this time. You have the opportunity to create a lot of abundance. But you have to be thinking like ease and not struggle. I've said it to you before. I think Pisces is way too used to the struggle. It's like when you've been struggling for a very long period of time, then you just automatically think that everything has to be a struggle. But really, I think it's time to change your story. And it's time to say like, no, things come easily to me. With the Page of Cups, you have the King of Wands. Some of you, we almost have the Emperor here. All we're missing is a King of Swords. So, and we have the Empress. So some of you could be attracting an Emperor and an Empress, or it's like someone is almost an Emperor and Empress with these cards. The King of Wands also wants you to be bold, assertive, confident, really wants you to go for whatever you're trying to accomplish right now. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this temptation card. It says, what is tempting you at this moment may not be a wise choice. You have this unfolding beauty. It says, everything is unfolding as it should. Surrender and live in the unexpected. Yes, everything is working out for you. Maybe you need to say that, right? Maybe that should be your affirmation. Everything is working out for me, and you need to believe it. Now, the temptation card says avoid a temptation, but it's coming up in the good stuff. So, there could be like a good temptation that's coming in for you as well. You show up here as the moon. We have the King of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. So again, whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength. The moon in the good stuff to me can represent great clarity. It can say that you are getting clarity. And again, I think the beginning of the reading is really Pisces looking for answers this week, and you could be getting some answers. You have the King of Pentacles, which again is good for your finances. So a lot of you could be working towards building wealth or stabilizing your finances. Again, kind of makes sense to me. Especially next year, Neptune and Saturn move back into your second. Like literally Saturn in your second is just adding structure and discipline to your finances, right? So, it makes perfect sense to me that this would come up. I feel it's a good thing. I mean, if you do that, then things will go very well. If you don't, then they won't. But I think you're going to be getting very disciplined about your finances. You have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is like everything you want and desire. You have it twice in this reading, which is great. The Ten of Pentacles really wants you to, work on something long-term. I've said it to you before. If I were a Pisces, and I am, I would be picking like one long-term project. I would pick it right now, and I would start working on it right now, and don't wait till next year, but it is going to be more important next year when Saturn and Neptune move back into Aries. But I would pick one long-term project that might take a lot of effort to build initially, because it'll be worth it. Because if you build anything you build now, will last a long time and will support you for a long time. So it's like worth the effort is what that card is saying to me. With the moon, you have the Page of Cups. It could be another Pisces or water sign for some of you, but definitely could be a love connection. Also could be a Leo or a fire sign. Could be any sign. This is a general reading here, Pisces, but definitely I feel like someone finds you dreamy here. With the King, here you go. With the King of Pentacles, there, I told you, right here. So we have Emperor energy now in this reading, all four kings. So Emperor and Empress showing up here. It's like maybe someone has had to level up in their life. Maybe you find this out. If you're meeting a person at this time, I would say over the next couple of months even, you might find out that, that they've liked you for a while. But it's maybe they've been working on something or kind of leveling up. I feel that could be a little bit of a clue for you, Pisces. If you meet a person and they're like, oh, I've liked you for a year. It's maybe they've been getting their life in order for a while. So, that looks pretty good. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is a celebration, happiness. These three ladies are celebrating a harvest on the Three of Cups. I feel like there are going to be a lot of harvests that Pisces could be celebrating, well into the future, if you build something permanent with that Ten of Pentacles, for sure. I also would say, I would maybe say also, if you face a fear, it's I think you're doing something right now that is almost like a comfort zone, and if you do that next thing, that's where the success will come from. Yes, you have this Cracked Cup card. It says dissatisfaction with life. I do feel a little bit of that with the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords. Personally, I like this card because sometimes I think we have to be dissatisfied to be motivated in the first place to make a move. And so is this really bad? I would say no. I think it's something that's kind of motivating you to create change or motivating you to success. And, that's really what I would pay attention to is, yeah, you might be feeling dissatisfied, but that should motivate you. You have this fan card. It says romance, celebration, and party. I would do, I think with the Three of Cups, if you're looking for love or anything else, socializing, getting out in public, doing fun things, all that is going to be very good for you. You have this September card and this caterpillar. It says things will not always be this way. A change is coming. So clearly, there is a change that's coming. Maybe something happened in September. Maybe you've been in a little bit of a holding pattern since September, but I do feel things are changing for you. You have this angel. It says spiritual guidance, protection from harm. You are protected at this time, Pisces. I feel like you need to kind of like truly believe it. I also feel with the Fool, it's in that Six of Cups and the Strength card, it's like saying to me that you have more strength than you realize, so you probably could be taking bigger risks than you think. And, it's like maybe you're afraid of starting that next project or that next relationship, but it's almost like the universe is like saying, no, you have more than enough strength to handle this situation. You have more than enough skills to, know how to navigate the situation. You really need to trust it. You have this Eggs card. It says success assured with good plans and hard work. You started with that card that says your dreams need a practical plan. Neptune and Pisces. You have a dream, you need to bring it down to earth. And, I think it can be very simple. It's like maybe you just need to come up with a certain routine that you work on to get to your dream, whatever it is. And you need to do, take one step every single day. But it's like, there's a golden egg here. Like, I think you're sitting on a golden goose that you need to hatch, because I think the goose will create a bunch of golden eggs into the future. But, it's like there's a little bit of this, really the answer is this right here. The Knight of Swords to that Page of Pentacles. It's like there's a little bit of a wall that you have to bust through. But it's like I think you have a bulldozer. I think you have a sledgehammer. You just need to use it to bust down the wall, whatever that wall is. Interesting. But I like it, Pisces, so thank you for being here. Make sure to like, leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your week.